Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen updates. There is a new Star Citizen Alpha 3.22 live mini patch, which has actually caused a little bit of annoyance with some people. We take a look at some of the Scorpius and Terry's changes. There are some cool Luminalia free gifts for you to grab now, some awesome weapons. And we take a look at a couple of dev responses. Avenger 1 made a video, a critique to master modes, and there's some dev responses to that. We also look at an exchange talking about NPCs, FPS combat, and a clarification on time to kill balance. So there was another Star Citizen Alpha 3.22 live patch that focuses on bug fixes and basically solving some of the issues with approaching derelict settlements, which were very, very resource hungry. It sort of dropped your frames to single digits and stuff like that. A lot of this is now fixed. They fixed issues with sort of missiles and torpedoes sort of disappearing after traveling a short distance. There were some fixes to the Santok Yai, loads of performance issues with tractor beams. Arena Commander leaderboards should now function again, and they fixed some server crashes and a server deadlock. So, some people were annoyed at this mini patch, even though it fixed a load of little bits, because there was a wipe to the short-term database. It reset that. So these mini resets basically wipe your consumables and things that are in transit. So anything that's not actually stored properly in the persistent database, your refinery jobs, cargo in transit, that sort of jazz. So people that hadn't expected this sort of update and put a load of refinery jobs in or whatever, that stuff just got wiped. And yeah, people basically said a little warning would have been nice. However, it's an alpha. Things are going to get wiped. I would like to see on the sort of launcher or something, basically saying there's a mini patch or hotfix patch incoming. Be aware, this could wipe these things. Obviously, CIG should prioritize evolving and improving the game over almost everything else, but this could help as well. It's not mutually exclusive. Some extra little messaging here could go a long way, in my opinion. Talking about hotfixes, another one with further stability updates is incoming. I'm not sure if that's also going to wipe the sort of short-term database, but it could just be a hotfix that is deployed and doesn't really affect anything else other than adding stability. So just be aware, there is one coming within the next day or so. In Alpha 3.22, the Antares, the Scorpius Antares, had some changes to the way its co-pilot seat worked. So, the Antares now allows the co-pilot to control the remote turret camera. More importantly, the co-pilot will now have primary control over missiles when the seat is occupied. When flying solo, though, the pilot will have access to the missiles. They'll have the primary control there. When entering the co-pilot's remote turret seat, you'll find a new option to enter as a missile operator, granting you the ability to both lock on and fire missiles, even if they're outside of the pilot's initial cone of fire. This is a significant new addition to the ship. Looking to the future, this is the same functionality that will be set up on the RSI Polaris when it becomes flight ready. So this functionality is in Alpha 3.22. However, not all the dashboard art changes have been implemented yet. So if you're looking for how to enable this new mode, simply look to the left of the QD buttons. So more is coming for the ship in the not too distant future. And obviously they're balancing things like this all the time. A lot of people were like, why have a co-pilot? Oh, you have to have a co-pilot to use the EMP and the quantum dampener. That just seems like a waste of a seat. Why not just tie that to the pilot? Well, they're actually adding more and more to that co-pilot. It's going, look, it's supposed to be a two-seater ship, but there's going to be more functionality for the co-pilot to do, and we don't want to give the pilot all of that sort of power in a ship that's supposed to be two-seater. So it's an interesting one. I'm liking the way they are evolving some of these ships, and it's nice to know that there's going to be things like this coming to the RSI Polaris as well. They're setting up for the co-pilots or other chairs to be able to use those missile operator modes. Luminalia! It's still in swing. On the 22nd of December, that's the sort of actual proper Luminalia celebration. However, there's gifts to open on the calendar. You can open these sort of 12 gifts of Luminalia all the way up until the 8th of January, so don't worry if you're missing out on the individual days. The Demeco and F-55 LMGs are available with exclusive skins that you just grab for free. Bam! Awesome addition to your account. There's also other stuff like Christmas jumpers and all that sort of stuff, so get involved with that. Go to the RSI Luminalia gifts page and get yourself some free stuff. Now, let's move on to some community and dev responses. So, Master Modes was talked about in a video by Avenger1. Avenger1, he's a very experienced PvE and I'd say primarily PvP Star Citizen combat pilot. He's a very good dogfighter. He's got quite reasonable, focused, constructive feedback based on his point of view. He's very much driven to try and make the competitive combat model for fighters as best as it can be. He's been playing Master Modes in Alpha 3.22, made a video about it, and basically the very rough summary of his video, which I will link down below, is there were some minor concerns at this point with Master Mode stuff. His opinion is that we are getting Master Modes as the current flight model is a bit too difficult for a lot of people. It needs to be more accessible, but also needs to be interesting, fun, and complex. He feels, however, that the direction that Master Modes are going are slowing down combat and dumbing down combat, lowering the skill ceiling and giving too strong a skill floor, moving from a high skill movement based system to a more simple tank and DPS and loadout system. And he's concerned that it's moving closer to pay to win because of that, because your loadout and your actual ship hull influence a lot more about if you're going to win rather than if you're a good pilot. So larger multi-crew ships, he says, yeah, they should be important, very important to the game. Fighters, they're potentially too weak though, and they should be relatively powerful or at least have very high skill ceilings that you can attain. The slower speeds limit maneuvers and currently are overly focused on boost and afterburning, and too many shots land on targets, especially other fighters, too easily. He does like the base of this new Master Mode flight model though, and some of its updates and features are super important. He says it fixes a load of core issues and they needed to be fixed. But speeds need to come up, in his opinion. He wants speeds to be faster, a lot faster in SCM, sort of doubling them in some situations. Boost only affecting forward momentum and are giving you, again, a huge amount of speed. He wants better power management systems, allowing for meaningful choices. And he feels that a lot of depth of gameplay is being bulldozed with these new Master Mode tunings, but also concedes that there's a level of depth to them. And yeah, it's problems with flight and combat tuning with Master Modes at the moment that are the concern. But he wants the sort of game to be fun and competitive, and these sort of Master Modes with these tunings at the moment could potentially kill that. He doesn't want it to be tuned for a console game. He believes that CIG want a deep and engaging game though, and feedback is important here. He does say that hopefully this will change in the future, and encourages players to play in the Master Mode tests, which you can now in 3.22, and give your feedback based on your thoughts. I really like what Avenger1 has to say here. Don't necessarily agree with all of it myself, but I agree with quite a lot of it, and I like the fact that he is sharing his opinion in a pretty reasonable way. YogiClat, principal vehicle programmer, responded as well, saying, "This is a good video. I personally don't agree with all the points, but definitely with some of them, which will be addressed early next year. That's why we are testing with the community to find the right balance that benefits the whole player base. That's why we're doing experimental modes. Almost nothing is finalised on Master Modes yet. A reminder, you can play it right now in the Arena Commander experimental modes. Give it a go and provide feedback. No matter if you're a PvP or PvEer, racer or trader, we need your feedback as much as possible." Yeah, totally agree with the response there. Play it. Try it yourself. Nothing's set in stone yet, and they want feedback like this. Another thread. What happened to the idea of us being just the same as NPCs? The original poster here basically says NPCs and players were supposed to be the same in kind of stats and their health and ability to do things in the world. They're all able to wear heavy and medium and light armor and all that sort of jazz and have the same weapons. He then asks why NPCs at the moment are they just cannon fodder, only taking a couple of bullets to take down? Why are they raising times to kill for players, but not necessarily for NPCs? Why is it that player health pools are higher, but NPC pools are not? Zprees, or Zprees, ground combat systems designer, responded, "A lot of those NPCs are not wearing armor, meaning they go down very quickly, just as you would if you were shot wearing no armor. Basically, there is a naked multiplier that's in effect here, which players would also have. However, players typically are wearing armor when they're in combat. This does not happen on much higher difficulty bunkers, as NPCs are still going to be wearing armor. You'll notice that they have a lot more health effectively because they're wearing heavier armor. NPCs do, however, have slightly higher damage modifiers on them, as you are typically taking out large amounts of enemies in mission encounters. Damage values, however, are still 1 1-to-1 between NPCs and players. So 1-to-1 referring to the weapon damage. So weapons that you've got are 1-to-1 damage. They don't change the weapon damage. However, I want to pipe in here because that's not necessarily the full story. There are damage modifiers, as they said, on NPCs, and they do vary quite a bit because basically, NPCs receive, on average, I think around 30% more damage on each of their hit locations. So you're shooting them, you're effectively dealing 30% more damage. 30% isn't double or anything. It's not the hugest amount in the world, but it is still quite a bit. Another user responded, yeah, damage modifiers sound a bit like a band-aid approach. Hopefully you'll take a chance to reconsider. The idea that you'd artificially nerf NPCs because it's 1 versus 10 seems inconsistent with the game design by saying that we specifically don't follow the main character trope. Everything should be balanced 1v1, and if there are 2 of them, it's twice as hard. As everyone is fond of saying, you can always hire escorts or go with friends. I definitely want the NPCs to follow the same rules as players. At the risk of belaboring the point and also disillusioning myself, I really liked how pilot AI was described in the past. They weren't designing how AI ships moved, they were teaching AI pilots how to fly ships. So the ship was the same ship the players flew, it was just being flown by an AI. Once again, the same rules. I like to believe that that's true, and that is how it was presented to us. Obviously, that's all I have to go on at the moment. Zedprees again responds, there's a lot that goes into the game behind the curtain that makes a fun versus AI experience that does not put them equal to a player's footing. From accuracy percentage, accuracy modifiers, to shooting tokens, how much visibility they need to fire, etc. Once you factor in all those things, the NPCs having the same stats as a player or not is ultimately just a single balancing tool you have for making a fun experience. The ultimate end goal is making something engaging, fun, and unique to Star Citizen's toolset. In the Pyro playtests, we had some NPCs that were wearing very heavy armor, which had a protection of 80%. It ultimately allows us to make combat far more varied and engaging, with leaving lots of design space open to bring very different experiences. The combat in Star Citizen with NPCs is very grounded, and we've shown NPCs having limited ammo pools, being able to revive each other, and things that are currently in like NPCs never cheating player locations. Really love that response. It's really nice to know the sort of direction of where they're going and the things that they're doing. Obviously, nothing is set in stone yet. They want feedback for all that's going on in Star Citizen, and player feedback is really useful here. I love the fact that these devs get involved with answering questions with the community in their spare time and are willing to put themselves out there. Really want more of that. And in regards to that, I made a video the other day talking about times to kill and some of Zedprees' responses to times to kill, and he referenced 0.9 in their response, basically saying, oh, the 0.9 is potentially too long. This was referencing time to kill in some way, but I didn't actually know what it referenced. He messaged me back explaining, I saw your video, I actually commented, but no one seems to have seen it, haha. 0.9 refers to 0.9 seconds to kill someone in the chest when they're wearing medium armor with a P4AR. That's what we reference for our baseline time to kill. I can get into design brain and forget to not use jargon. To be honest, saying about them not using jargon there, I think it's better that devs get involved, answer questions, and talk about stuff, and then people can always ask more questions. What does this mean exactly? I think this has been referenced ages ago as like a throwaway comment in Inside Star Citizen a while ago or whatever, but even without that very specific reference, I still understood that it was about times to kill. So absolutely love the fact that devs go out and answer questions, get involved with the community. Obviously, it is a snapshot of development at the time. Stuff changes. If a dev said 2 years ago that, oh, they're planning to balance for this, and then that's changed, not going to hold it against them, but I am going to go, oh, look, the development has changed into this direction, and we know because this was the direction before, and we've got that because the devs were talking about it. Why has it gone over to this direction? Oh, we can work it out because of these things. I like that about Star Citizen development. Obviously, at the moment, there is a bit of a debate over times to kill. Are they too long or too short in FPS? I'm pro a bit of gamification to a lot of systems and longer times to kill, personally. Others want more of a sim gameplay element and sort of want that more realistic, lower time to kill. You can go watch my video on that with that expanded context now as well. I'll link it in the comments below. But boom, that's it for your updates today. Really interested to know what you think about Star Citizen's times to kill, what you think about devs getting involved and answering questions in their spare time. putting themselves out there? Would you like to see NPCs as pure one-to-ones of players and damage modifiers not being applied to them that are different from players anyway? What are you thinking of master modes at the moment? Have you been playing master modes in 3.22? What do you think of the direction that's going in? Got any critique of that? Got any sort of praise? Are you enjoying Luminalia and getting involved with that? Do you have an Antares, Scorpius Antares? Are you liking the changes that they've made to that? Alpha 3.22, how is that patch treating you? Whatever your thoughts or questions, I would love to hear from you in the comments below.
Ho ho ho, it's me, Father Nordmus. That's right, it's that time again to see who's on my naughty list for who doesn't have a VPN.
No, that's Northern Claws!
Grass from Northern Claws, Timmy. You should be scared of not having a VPN. As you know, Father Nordmus punishes all that disobey him. It's the perfect Nordmus present, Timmy. There's no excuse. I can see all of your website history, and I'm going to sell all of your data, Tim.
NordVPN helps protect your online activity, gives you greater accessibility to the content you want by changing your location, and much, much more. Go to nordvpn.com/BoredGamer before Das Northern Claws finds you. Do you like using your eye holes for extra immersion in Star Citizen and help aim and do some cool stuff? Well, you can with Tobii Eye Tracker 5, which is on sale at the moment. This gives you native high-precision head and eye tracking in Star Citizen. Very cool for general immersion, for combat both in ship or on foot. They are absolutely fantastic pieces of kit, and both Zin and I have one. Use the links below to grab one or to find out more. Every month we have a Star Citizen ship giveaway. For December, we are giving away a Drake Corsair. It's the winner of the 2953 Ship Showdown and one of the stars of the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. This fantastic multi-role, multi-crew, long-range mission runner can do a bit of everything in-game, and it has a penchant for exploration. Just comment on any of my videos during December to be in for a chance of winning that. There are further details in the description below. A big thank you to everyone that goes the extra mile in supporting the channel via Patreon or the join button under my videos and becoming a channel member. It will net you some exclusive content from Zin and I, but also it really does help us to be able to create daily Star Citizen content, as does sharing these videos and commenting. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the verse.